And what do you think separates Hawken from other free-to-play titles?
I think a lot of it is just the universe and the artistic direction. We have something that's very fast-paced, that's very fun. I think the customization options are pretty competitive when people get a chance to actually dive in and see what they are. The way we have subclasses and the way that those level up and the different items that you can equip, including the internals and whatnot. But I think what really stands out immediately is the art direction. Right? Not only the look of it, but just sort of the feel of it in the world. I think that immediately catches people's attention, and I think it's pretty unique, it's strong, and the gameplay is fun. That's what's going to keep people playing.
And in fact, the graphics look phenomenal. What has the Unreal Engine opened up for you as far as the game's look and feel?
Well, part of Unreal looks great on its own, and I think the benefit in going with that engine is it allows us to, not only does it look great, but it really allows us to focus on content. There's a lot of little things that we don't have to worry about. That stuff is already there, that exists. And we don't have to worry about engineering solutions for things. We can focus on content. We can focus on making the game fun and then making it look as good as possible. So, a lot of the directions that are the early decisions to go with UDK even before before the meteor aspect entered the picture, it really was a great way to get the game up and running fast, looking great with rather minimal effort, and it just allowed us to actually just focus on content and the user experience.
And you guys are having a huge transmedia campaign. You guys are having a graphic novel, a web series, and supposedly a movie. How will that influence the Hawken game moving forward, do you think?
Well, I think the game itself is only just it's just a piece, right? It's a piece of this big universe that's been created, and it's just a window into just a piece of what exists, right? So I think it's good not only for the universe, but it'll be good for the game. The game is just going to be able to tell one particular instance of that world. I think these other aspects of Transmedia are going to bring more attention not only to the game, of course, but also for the universe. It's something to be taken as a whole, and the game is just a part of that. And I think that people who stay with Hawken, they're going to see continually through 2013 just more ways that we're able to bring people into that world that can not necessarily mirror but complement a lot of what they see in the other transmedia efforts.
And how will eSports? What opportunities will eSports open up for Hawken?
It's something that was of great value to us, and we took very seriously even early on. I think that we have some modes that are very great. They're certainly good contenders for that eSports scene. It's blown up tremendously, and I think it will continue to do so, that scene. It's something we take very seriously, and we are making just actually very conscientious steps so that in the coming months that we'll be able to speak more to that. But it's a scene that we definitely want to be actively involved in.
And how hard is it to make a game competitive? Because it takes a little different steps in making a casual game or a co-op game. There's a lot of more rules, a lot more regulations you have to put on yourself.
It's tricky. A lot of it just comes down to test. We've been a small team for a long time. There's a lot of fans of the game, and it does take time to iterate and get some quality designs out there. And not just as a matter of art, but as a matter of balance, as a matter of when it comes to weaponry, when it comes to items, all of that. It just takes time to figure out what works and what doesn't. So the public only sees a fraction of what we're actually working on. There's a lot of things behind the scenes, but making a competitive game is a challenge. It's a good challenge, and it's something that we always have to be aware of. Anything that we put into the game, how is that going to impact that competitive feel? How is it going to impact the experience for the player? Because the smallest little thing you do could have huge ramifications on the entire experience for everybody. So it's a very careful line to walk, and some you need to be careful with where you tread on that.
And do you have a favorite mech?
Favorite? I tend to be a long range player. I actually like the sharpshooter myself. I love just getting into good spots on a map and just it's more of an assault, or I should say not an assault. It's more of an assist kind of mech, and I have no problem with that, picking off players to help the other team, to help the team get further.
And do you have a favorite game mode and map you like to play on, and what advice would you give to someone playing on it?
I would say I love jumping into deathmatch. Just like if I have just a short amount of time, I'll just jump into deathmatch. I love that. That's just that big, frantic, chaotic action. That's a big thing for me. I'm also a really big fan of Siege. Siege is that is our mode. That's definitely more competitive in spirit, but it has to do with the resource collecting and destroying the other team's base and holding a capture point, which is the AA. What I recommend for players on that is, regardless of the map, when it comes to Siege mode, is work together. Pay attention to sort of where. If you look at sort of the arc of the battle, pay attention to what phase that you're in. If you're in energy collection, if if it comes time to just take down an enemy battleship, if you have to protect yours, just sort of pay attention to where that is, and then offer assist that way. Work with your teammates. You don't even necessarily need to voice communicate, but just go with the flow of the battle. Don't try to just run off rogue and just do whatever. The game's a lot more fun. The mode's a lot more fun if you actually work together with people. So I encourage people to pay attention with how the tides of the battle are going.
And do you think we'll ever get a Hawken on console or a Mac client?
Have nothing to either confirm or deny about that. In honesty, here at Adhesive, we are really focusing on making the open beta right now even better. We have a whole laundry list of things that we want to have fixed, that we want to change, that we want to implement. We have new content, we have new features, and we have improvements. All basically, those are sort of like my 3 pillars right now. Things that we pull from that to try to get it all in. Again, we're a small team and we're working quickly, but our focus right now and our emphasis so much is on the version that's out right now. I know there's a lot of I've been asked that question a lot. There's a lot of demand for to see it on a console. There's a lot of demand to see it on a Mac, and that just speaks to people's passion about the game. Right now, I want to make sure that the version that people have right now is as good as it possibly can be, and I'm really happy with where we've been able to get it. But I think there's a lot that we can do, both immediate, medium, and long term. So we may have more news on those other platforms, but nothing to confirm or deny even at this point.